Now at 4, an apartment building at a senior community destroyed by fire. Fortunately, no one was living in this building, but we'll tell you about the residents who had to be evacuated that live nearby.
And how Indy transitions between large events just days after hosting tens of thousands of people during the Final Four.
And as we head into the weekend, temperatures are a bit on the cooler side, 50s and 60s showing up on the board, but we've got a bit of a warm up on the way. I'll let you know in the forecast.
Good afternoon, everybody. We start at 4 o'clock with this massive fire this morning at an apartment building in a senior community. This is in Franklin. That particular building was still under construction. Veteran firefighters call it the largest they have ever battled. They needed about 3 hours to bring those flames under control.
Fortunately, no one was living in that building yet, and everyone in the adjoining building was evacuated safely. Rich Nye has been at the Compass Park Retirement Community all day and joins us live now with what he's learned about this fire. Rich, afternoon.
Dustin and Felicia, what's left of that apartment building is right behind me. Again, this was unoccupied, under construction, but it was supposed to open in about 100 days, and most of the units, 39 of them, were already spoken for. Next door is an adjoining apartment building, and there were people living here. In fact, 55 residents have had to be displaced. They were evacuated today, temporarily displaced, while they check out water and smoke damage in this building. Now, the call came in at about 5:15 this morning. This fire went on for at least 3 hours before firefighters got it under control. This video is from about 6:30 this morning. More than an hour later, you can still see just how big this fire was. About 60 firefighters from every department in Johnson County came to Compass Park to fight the fire. The Franklin Fire Chief estimates about 750,000 gallons of water have been poured on this fire today. The residents were evacuated within 17 minutes after the fire alarm. No injuries for staff or residents. The CEO of the Compass Park campus is grateful.
And my biggest fear is a fire on a campus like this, you know. We practice every single month, fire drills, every shift. Our staff's tuned in, what to do if, what to do when. So I had the confidence when I got the call at 5:15 this morning, and I live down in Bloomington, but when I got the call at 5:15 this morning, I had the confidence our staff here was going to do the right thing because they're trained. They're thoroughly trained. But you know, what you fear is the unknown.
This is the look from Drone Camp 13. Firefighters were still pouring water on hot spots this afternoon. Investigators are just now beginning to get inside the structure to begin their work at finding out what caused this fire. In fact, back here live, you can see the wind has just now kicked up some flames on this building again, and this building still on fire here. 12 hours after this fire, almost 12 hours, about 11 hours after this fire started this morning. 3 members of the Compass Park staff were treated for smoke inhalation or taken to the hospital, but they were treated and released. So the good news again, Felicia and Dustin, is big loss of property today, but no loss of life. And this Compass Park campus is huge, and there are all levels of living. There are houses, apartments, people who need various levels of care. And I know a lot of our viewers have people have people who live here, and we're very concerned about those residents today. Everyone is okay tonight.
And we're certainly glad for that, and also thankful that all that practice and training that man talked about clearly paid off.
Yeah, certainly. All right, Rich, thank you so much. That's Rich out in Franklin. Now to an alleged behind-the-scenes political push from the White House and the fiery response from the candidate who says she will not be pushed around.
Alexandra Wilson is running in next month's May primary to try and unseat State Senator Greg Good. So is a woman named Brenda Wilson. President Trump has endorsed Brenda, and Alexandra claims that the White House tried to influence her to step aside and not run because they were concerned it could split the vote and end up giving the win back to Greg Good. Alexandra told us in a statement today, instead of considering the merits of my candidacy, the White House and Indiana leaders have spent countless hours trying to push me aside, including offers of potential employment in taxpayer-funded roles in exchange for my leaving the race. Now, we also heard back from the White House today. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told me, as far as their involvement, She said this is what the political team does. She said ultimately President Trump's team is doing their jobs to ensure the best outcome and as many wins across the board as they can get. Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker is speaking with Alexandra Wilson this afternoon. In fact, just did an interview with her moments ago. We'll have much more on this developing story coming up in about 45 minutes here on 13 News. Meanwhile, the conservative group Club for Growth is pouring more than $1.5 million into 8 state Republican Senate races. In 7 of those districts, they are supporting the challenger to try and unseat the incumbent, those lawmakers who voted down the push for congressional redistricting late last year. I talked with Club for Growth President David McIntosh about it for this week's Crossroads Politics.
Has Club for Growth ever put this much money into a primary election in Indiana?
This is the first time that we would have spent it on the state legislative races. We were ready to spend more of that to help Jim Banks win his election, but it ended up being pretty much a clear field, and he was able to do that. We endorsed him, supported him, and worked with him. Way back in the past, we've been involved in some of the different primaries, but this is unique in that it's money being spent at the state level really to correct the leadership so we can have everybody on the same page working as a team.
And you can watch our whole conversation Sunday morning on Crossroads Politics or streaming online anytime on demand at WTHR+. New numbers out today show we saw a 21% jump in gas prices last month. That's the largest one-month increase since 1967. The annual rate of inflation also ticked up to 3.3%, which is its highest level in 2 years.
Joining us now to talk about all these numbers is Professor Kyle Anderson. He's an economist with the IU School, Kelley School of Business. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
We got new numbers in. We already knew gas prices are going up. We're feeling the effects of it. We're seeing reports that inflation up as well.
Exactly. And gas prices are a direct part of that, but also they make the costs of goods and services higher as well. So it's kind of a double whammy when you have this big spike in gasoline prices.
The White House said that they released a statement concerning today's report, saying in part, President Trump has always been clear about the short-term disruptions as a result of Operation Epic Fury, disruptions that the administration has been diligently working to mitigate. And we saw the governor at the state level try and mitigate it by suspending the state's sales tax on gasoline, which is only part of the gas tax, but still something. Do you expect that to have an impact on our local economy at all?
Very minimal. I mean, suspending the gas tax will bring down prices by 10 or 15 cents, 17 cents, whatever that ends up being. But it's a pretty small amount, and it doesn't really cushion the impact, and it doesn't make us want to fill up the gas a little faster.
Yeah, and then so also the report mentioned excludes energy and food prices. Those rose by 2%. And so it's kind of mixed in the data and some of the numbers that we're seeing. It's like some things are going up, not necessarily others. However, when you talk about gas, you're not just talking about it from a consumer standpoint. I guess those costs get passed on to businesses too. It's like a lot goes into this.
Exactly. I already saw this week where there was a fuel surcharge on a service that came to my house. Mm-hmm. And so all of those other prices are going up because businesses need to pass those costs on to consumers. And so it's not just at the pump we're going to feel that.
All right. Well, thanks for the explanation and the insight. Really appreciate your time, as always.
Happy to do it.
All right. Let's get over to Rob. He's got weather, but also you're looking at traffic, too. We got a major mess there on the east side this afternoon.
Yeah, we want to get you to some breaking traffic news. This is a live picture from one of our NDOT cameras. This is on the east side. This is 465. It's the southbound lanes that are currently blocked, at least the right 2 or 3 lanes, because of a garbage truck fire, a waste management garbage truck that has been causing some big problems all throughout the day. Let's look at earlier video. Take a look at this. We had some video earlier of the flames when this first started. This was about maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours ago or so, before all of those vehicles were on the scene. This is all on the east side. Let me show you where we're looking at with this, because it is going to be an area that there's going to be a lot of volume in the traffic picking up throughout the day. East side, if we'll go to the maps here, we'll show you here in just a moment. We're looking at the east side southbound lanes. It has been causing some problems northbound lanes lanes, but this is the area that we're talking about right here. The backup goes past 70 and then eventually up to the north. In fact, I'm going to show you a 30th Street camera here in just a moment. Again, that was a live picture that you were looking at. There's the garbage truck fire, but they've got additional vehicles on the scene, including some additional dump trucks. I assume they're going to probably unload what's on that once they make sure that it is no longer on fire. The 30th Street camera, this is also southbound traffic. That traffic is going to be backed up for a while. This is causing a cascading impact for your evening commute. In the meantime, we are tracking a couple of scattered showers that have been popping up. Not a lot to write home about, but there's a couple of areas where we could get a quick little downpour, and then that'll move on. And look at the temperatures. They continue to drop. We've got 60s, but even some 50s showing up as some north or northwest winds continue. And I think over the next several hours, we'll take any 60s that are left out there. We'll drop them through the 50s, and we'll likely end up in the 30s and the 40s overnight. I'll put 43 on the board for you with partly cloudy skies, but we're expecting temperatures to be in the 30s to the north. We'll talk about Saturday's forecast, which will also remain cool, and a bit of a warm-up on the way coming up.
All right, Rob, bring it on. And it is the countdown to the splashdown. Artemis 2 is almost home, the local tie to the end of this historic moon mission.
Plus, talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time. We will tell you what happened to a Greenwood couple just driving down I-65. That's ahead in just a few minutes.